One in three adults over 65 falls at least once every year. But balance isn't something that just happens to you. It's a trainable skill, and 10 minutes of the right movements done consistently is enough to start shifting it. The unsteadiness most people feel after 65, reaching for the counter without thinking, slowing down on stairs, hesitating on uneven ground, that isn't your body giving up on you. It's three specific systems losing their sharpness, and all three of them respond to training at 65, at 70, at 80. So here's what we're doing today. 4 movements, no equipment, near a chair or a kitchen counter, wherever you are right now. And by the time we're done, you'll understand exactly why your balance has been changing and what to do about it every single day. If your balance has gotten noticeably worse over the last few years, this is for you. If you've had a close call, a stumble, a moment where you grabbed for something without thinking, this is for you. And if you've never fallen but you've started to think about it, same answer. Let's start. Your body keeps you upright by running 3 separate systems at once, and after 65, all 3 start to lose their edge. Inside your inner ear, there are tiny hair-like cells that detect the direction and speed of your head's movement. They send a constant signal to your brain. Which way is up? Which way am I tilting? How fast am I turning? After 65, these cells gradually decline. The signal gets quieter. Your brain gets less information to work with. The second is your vision. Your eyes are constantly cross-referencing where your body is in space. Close your eyes right now and shift your weight slightly. You'll feel less stable almost immediately. That's not your imagination. You just removed one of the 3 signals your brain relies on to keep you upright. The third system is called proprioception. Stay with me here. This one most people haven't heard of, and it's the most important one for what we're doing today. Proprioception is a network of tiny sensors in your muscles, tendons, and joints, especially in your feet, ankles, and knees, that tell your brain exactly where your body is positioned without you having to look. When you step on an uneven patch of ground and your ankle adjusts automatically before you even register that the surface changed, that's proprioception. It's your body's fastest communication line. And after 65, these sensors lose sensitivity. The signals slow down. The automatic corrections that used to happen in a fraction of a second start taking longer, which is why the stumble that your body used to catch without thinking is now the one that catches you off guard. And here's what matters for every exercise we're about to do. Of the 3 systems, proprioception is the most trainable. The movements we're going through today specifically challenge those sensors, loading them just enough that the brain and body have to sharpen their communication. Done regularly, this is how balance actually improves, not through willpower or being more careful, through retraining the system that does the catching. You can't train your inner ear the way you can train your legs, but you can absolutely train the network that compensates for it, and that's exactly what we're doing. First movement, the single leg stand. It sounds almost too simple, but this is the single most used exercise in balance rehabilitation for a reason. It goes directly at the proprioceptive sensors in your ankle and foot that are responsible for catching you when the ground shifts. Here's how to do it. Stand near the back of a chair or a kitchen counter, not holding on, but close enough to grab if you need to. Feet hip-width apart to start. Then lift one foot off the floor, just a few inches. You don't need to raise it high, and hold. 10 seconds is a completely respectable starting point. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. If you make it to 10 and you felt shaky the entire time, that's not failure. That's the exercise working. The wobble you feel is those proprioceptive sensors firing, the small corrections your ankle is making to keep you upright. Those are exactly the corrections that get faster and more precise with practice. Try to keep your eyes focused on a fixed point on the wall in front of you, not looking down at your foot, not scanning the room. One spot. Your eyes are one of the 3 systems. Give them something to anchor on, and your ankle can do its job more cleanly. Hold for 10 seconds. Switch sides. Do that 2 or 3 times per side, then rest. As this gets easier, and it will, you'll progress in 2 ways. First, hold longer. Work toward 20 seconds, then 30, without grabbing. Second, and this is the bigger challenge, try it with your eyes closed. When you remove vision from the equation, your proprioceptive system has to carry more of the load. Even 5 seconds with eyes closed on one leg is a meaningful challenge for most people over 65. That's not something to feel discouraged about. That's exactly where the training is happening. Second movement, and this one directly targets the balance demand of walking itself. The tandem stance. Place one foot directly in front of the other, heel of the front foot touching the toes of the back foot in a straight line. Find a spot on the wall, pick your point, and hold 20 to 30 seconds, then switch which foot is in front. This narrows your base of support down to almost nothing. Walking is essentially a continuous series of single-leg moments with a very narrow track, and this position replicates that exactly. Your body has to work significantly harder to stay centered than it does with your feet apart. That difficulty is the whole point. If heel to toe is too challenging to start, leave a small gap between them. A few inches between heel and toe still provides the challenge with a bit more margin. Work toward closing that gap over time. A Cochrane review, 116 studies, over 25,000 people, found that balance and functional exercises like these reduce the rate of falls by 24%. That's not from doing an hour at the gym, that's from the specific type of challenge these movements create. Narrowing your base, loading the sensors, forcing the system to adapt. 2 movements, that's already half the work. Let's keep going. Third movement, heel raises. Stand behind your chair, hands resting lightly on the backrest. Not gripping, just there for reassurance. Rise up onto the balls of your feet, both together, then lower back down, slow and controlled, not a bounce. The lowering is where a lot of the strength work actually happens, so resist the urge to drop. Take your time with it, 10 to 15 repetitions. Rest, repeat. The calf muscles, the 2 muscles running down the back of your lower leg, are your ankle's primary stabilizers. They're the ones that fire first when the ground shifts under you, and they're among the first muscles to lose strength after 65 simply from moving less. Heel raises rebuild that baseline directly. Because you're also shifting weight through the ball of your foot with each rep, you're loading the proprioceptive sensors in a way the standing exercises don't, training the push-off phase of walking specifically. Progression. When you're ready, try them 1 foot at a time. Even 3 or 4 single-leg heel raises on each side is a real accomplishment if you haven't been training this. Don't rush it. Let the adaptation happen. Fourth movement, the heel-to-toe walk. This is the dynamic version of the tandem stance, except now you're moving through it. Clear a straight path about 10 feet long. A hallway is ideal. Walk forward, placing the heel of your leading foot directly in front of the toes of your trailing foot with each step, 1 foot in front of the other, in a straight line. Arms slightly out to the sides if that helps. Eyes forward on a fixed point, not looking down at your feet. 10 steps out, turn carefully, 10 steps back, 2 or 3 passes. This trains the exact movement pattern your body uses every time you walk on any surface that isn't completely flat, which is almost every surface. The reason many people develop a wider, shuffling gait as balance changes, feet further apart, smaller steps, is that the body is instinctively creating a broader base for safety. That makes sense in the moment. Over time, though, that same compensation accelerates the weakness it's trying to protect against. The heel-to-toe walk directly counters it. One of the most dangerous things that happens after a close call, a stumble, a moment that scared you, isn't the near miss itself. It's the decision that follows. Move less, be more careful, and then, the next time the sidewalk looks uncertain, skip the walk. The next time the parking lot seems uneven, hold off on going. One by one, the situations that used to feel manageable start getting crossed off the list. That decision makes complete sense. It comes from a reasonable place, and it quietly does the exact opposite of what it's trying to do. Less movement means weaker legs. Weaker legs mean worse balance. Worse balance means a higher chance of the fall they were trying to avoid. I hear from people living inside this cycle constantly. One bad moment, a stumble in the kitchen, a close call on the back step, and they've been quietly managing their world around it ever since, doing less, going fewer places, and slowly, steadily, losing the range of what they can do independently. 5 years down that road, this is how people stop going to their own church because the steps feel too uncertain. Stop meeting a friend for coffee because the parking lot isn't even and they're not sure they can manage it alone. Stop walking to the end of their own street, not from a fall, from the fear of one. That road isn't fixed. That is what these 4 movements are actually for. Keeping the legs strong enough, the sensors sharp enough, the confidence solid enough that the world doesn't have to get smaller. One more section. Let's finish strong. Here's how to make this a routine that actually works. Daily is ideal. 10 minutes, near a chair, same time each day if you can. Morning works well because you're working on the system at the exact moment it tends to feel shakiest, before the body has fully warmed up, which makes the training more effective, not less. But any time is the right time. The only version of this that doesn't work is the version you don't do. If daily feels like too much to start, 3 times a week is a well-supported minimum. What the research consistently shows is that balance improvement is driven by repetition and consistency more than duration or intensity. 2 sessions a week of focused balance work, held to over several months, produced measurable results across multiple studies. You are not trying to exhaust yourself. You are trying to show your nervous system the same challenge enough times that it starts to adapt. And it will adapt. This is where things start to click. Those 3 systems, the inner ear, the vision, the proprioceptive sensors in your feet and ankles. Remember how we said proprioception was the most trainable of the 3? Every time you do a single leg stand, you are loading those sensors. Every heel-to-toe walk is retraining the exact connection between your brain and the muscles that keep you upright while moving. Every heel raise is rebuilding the ankle strength that fires before you're even conscious of a stumble. These exercises are not random. They target the specific system that responds to this kind of training. The numbers on this are real. A balanced circuit program reduced the percentage of frequent fallers from 59% down to 20% in 3 months. A 6-month program built around the same slow, deliberate, weight-shifting movements we've been doing today, Tai Chi in that study, cut the risk of multiple falls by 55% compared to a stretching control group, and the gains held at follow-up, 6 months after the program ended, 55% lower risk of multiple falls from consistent movement practice. That's not a pharmaceutical result. That's 10 minutes a day of standing near a chair and paying attention to your balance. Progression looks like this. Week 1 and 2, hold times and reps as described, both feet available as a fallback whenever you need them. Week 3 onward, start extending your holds and try the eyes closed versions for a few seconds at a time. Add the single leg heel raises when you feel ready. The goal isn't to suddenly do everything perfectly. The goal is to keep the edge of the challenge just slightly beyond where you are comfortable. That edge is where the adaptation happens. Do this today, do it tomorrow. Notice in 3 weeks how the wobble on the single leg stand starts to quiet down, how the corrections happen faster, how you grab for the chair a little less. That's not a small thing. That's the system coming back online. Subscribe if this helped, and I'll see you in the next one.